Whatever you do, make sure you visit ashkicking.com for your home fragrance, health, and beauty needs, quality products at a great price. Use this promo code DBN317 for 10% off of your order.
Hi, you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. Woo! Hey. Yeah.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the fight is only, a day away now? And Danny Jacobs has finally responded to the critics talking about his chin, saying that he has no chin, he has a glass chin, etc., etc. I mean, obviously, when you think of the fact that there's a fighter who's been knocked out before going up against a fighter who has, 23 knockouts in a row and is one of the hardest punchers in boxing, you automatically give the edge to Golovkin. I think that's just a natural consensus. But with that all being said, Danny Jacobs, he actually responded to, once again, the critics talking about his chin, and this is what he had to say. Quote, "I can see how people would say, given the fact that he's never been down or never been hurt, from what we've seen, it would be easy to kind of say, well, if anyone would go down, Jacobs would go. I can see how people would say that. But like I said, this is a sport where you have to continuously prove yourself. So no matter what the past is, no matter what people might say, it's really up to me to go in there and do the job. For some reason, I just feel like I've given people the false impression that I can't take a punch. I've taken great shots. I've sparred light heavyweights, I've sparred all different kinds of guys. I wouldn't say I've taken shots, but I've taken some good shots from those really strong guys. And I know what's inside me. With the Sergio Mora fight, it was just a mistake, really, going in, trying to swing wildly at the time that I heard him, and I got caught at the perfect time. It just was an off-balance type of shot. So yeah, this illusion has been created to the public that Daniel Jacobs can't take a shot." End quote. So Danny Jacobs, he had a lot to say in this interview. I just read a real small portion, but I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can read the entire transcript. Now, something else that Danny Jacobs said, he explained why and how he got knocked out by Pyrog. He said it was a difficult time in his life and career where his grandmother was sick. And matter of fact, after he lost to Pyrog, he had to fly right back to New York to bury his grandmother. He also attributes that loss to his immaturity at the time as well, him being a lot younger. He feels that has something to do with it. He obviously is a grown man. He obviously has a lot more experience from that knockout loss. You know, when you look at fighters that have been knocked out in their career, for some fighters, it made the fighter greater, and for others, it was the beginning of the end. Manny Pacquiao and Roy Jones Jr. are two perfect examples. Manny Pacquiao, a fighter before he reached stardom, before he became pound for pound number one or one of the best fighters in the world, he had already got knocked out previously 2 times before that. And those KO losses didn't derail, deter, or discourage Manny Pacquiao at all. He ended up just getting better and better. Now, when it comes to Roy Jones, when he got knocked out, or I should say after he got knocked out, Roy Jones was never the same. And unfortunately, whenever he got caught with a solid shot, Roy would go down, unfortunately. So there's no doubt about it, fighters definitely react different to being knocked out. One thing I will say, though, is true what Danny Jacobs said is, and I said it at the beginning of this video, right? I said the natural consensus is you got one guy who's been knocked out before, you got another guy who's never been knocked down, and he has, 23 knockouts in a row. Just looking at that alone would automatically make you think the guy that's been knocked out doesn't really have that much of a chance. But the one thing I think we are all overlooking is, how does Golovkin take a hard punch? And we may find out this weekend how he takes a hard punch. Because don't get me wrong, Golovkin has taken hard punches every once in a blue moon. But he hasn't really been caught with anything consistently. And if Golovkin's defense is good enough, he won't have to worry about that. But when you look at the Kell Brook fight and you see how often he was getting hit, and then even after the fight, Golovkin's face was battered and bruised, that was against a welterweight. How is he going to take a punch against a natural middleweight who may be able to crack just as hard as he can? I think the question is, how are both of these fighters going to respond once they get hit with one of the hardest punches they've ever got hit with? We're going to know a lot more about both of these fighters after this Saturday. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.